This is the iPhone 6.
And this is the iPhone 6 Plus. Seriously, we have two new iPhones this year. It got a huge design change, and they are the biggest iPhones we've ever seen. So we're going to compare both of them and tell you which one you should get.
They're extremely big.
They're huge. That's what she said.
So after we get over the size of the new iPhones, we're definitely going to be taking a look at the new design because honestly, it looks nothing like the old iPhones. They look a lot better, actually.
The design is typical Apple here, but with a little twist. It definitely has a nice rounded edge to it and nice rounded lines. Gone is the chamfered edge, actually, but I like it. It looks really, really nice in the hand. But the way that the glass uniforms to the metal body itself, it gives it a great feel in the hand. The only thing I don't like really is the antenna bands that are on the top and the bottom. I just think that makes it look a little cheap. Now, it's definitely really disgusting looking on the gold and the silver models, but on the space gray, it's not as bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. I think it actually looks good on the space gray. I think it looks great. The iPhone 6 Plus, on the other hand, is going to get some serious time getting used to it because, well, it's a huge phone. Like, massive.
Yeah,
big.
When you take it out of the box, you're going to notice it is just massive. You hold it in your hand and you're not really sure if you're going to be able to handle this thing. I mean, most people with normal size hands, I think they're going to have a hard time handling the iPhone 6 Plus.
So at first, when I took a look at the iPhone 6 Plus, I thought it was way too massive for me. I mean, it's a 5.5-inch display, but it's bigger than the Note 3, and it's just a really, really big phone. But after I got used to it, like I used it for a couple of days, and I actually kind of liked it a little bit more than the first day because, well, I liked the bigger screen size, the extra resolution, the higher PPI. There's a lot of great benefits of having a bigger display.
Yeah, and you just do get used to it over time. I totally agree with that. It was just really crazy at first to look at this giant iPhone, and it almost looks like a novelty product at first. But then when you get used to it, I'm actually enjoying the larger display.
Yeah, it kind of actually shocks you when you first open the box of the iPhone 6 Plus. I mean, it's a really, really big phone. Like, when I went into the Apple store, because I already saw the iPhone 6 Plus, and we had dummy units of the 6 Plus, but when I actually picked it up, a real phone in the Apple store, I was like, wow. It's huge.
It's shocking.
It's huge. But the iPhone 6, on the other hand, I actually think it's the perfect size. 4.7-inch display. It's a really popular screen size for a lot of great phones. The Moto X from last year, the HTC One, thinking of other phones that have a 4.7-inch display. I know there's tons more, but 4.7 is a great screen size. A lot of Android phones actually use it.
I think the 4.7-inch display is definitely the sweet spot as well. But the problem is that this device is almost as big as the Galaxy S5, which has a 5.1-inch display.
Yeah, but that doesn't really bother me. I think it's still a great phone. It fits really well in one hand. It is kind of a stretch to get to the top of the phone and the bottom of the phone with the same hand, but if you have normal sized hands, it'll be fine. And you do have reachability. It's a terrible name, terrible idea, just, whatever.
Yeah, I personally think reachability is pretty stupid. At least at the implementation that it's in right now, it does have some potential, but I don't think that that's a good solution for these large phones. But
yeah, and who calls something reachability?
Yeah, it sounds like something else.
So what's kind of funny is both of these iPhones are exactly the same in terms of specs. We run the same A8 processor, the same Motion coprocessor, the M8. They also have the same amount of RAM, 1 gigabyte. It's essentially almost the same phone, but there are a few key differences.
1 gigabyte of RAM though, seriously? Anyway, the biggest difference that is notable is that the iPhone 6 Plus has optical image stabilization built into the camera, and you do not get that in the 4.7. I really don't understand why they both have that protruding camera. Doesn't make any sense. And the largest thing for me is that the iPhone 6 Plus has a much bigger battery, and it definitely helps the battery life.
So if you're trying to figure out which iPhone to pick up, either the iPhone 6 or the 6 Plus, know this, they're almost exactly the same phone.
There are some notable differences though, especially in the screens.
So the iPhone 6 has a 4.7-inch display with a resolution of 1334 by 750, and the iPhone 6 Plus has a 5.5-inch display with a resolution of 1920 by 1080.
The iPhone 6 has 326 pixels per inch, while the 6 Plus has 401 pixels per inch. And both are great displays. They have incredible viewing angles. They're very sharp. but I prefer the one that's on the 6 Plus. The 1080p resolution, it definitely makes a difference. Things look just a little bit sharper, and I like the color replication better on the 6 Plus.
A great benefit of having a larger display on the iPhone 6 Plus is you can do more of your applications, including your home screen having a landscape mode. You have a new messages application that gives you more content. Mail is also different. You just do a lot more with a bigger display. But also with a bigger display, you're more inclined to watch more videos and listen to more audio with a larger display on both of these iPhones. And honestly, the iPhone 6 Plus has a much better sounding speaker. I think there's just more space for the sound to kind of come out of the phone. Obviously, the speaker grill itself is bigger on the iPhone 6 Plus. And to me, and to Danny, I think, the 6 Plus sounds better than the 6.
Yeah, it does. Sounds a little bit clearer. It's got a little bit more tone to it as well.
And now it's time to talk about the camera, which is Danny's favorite subject of any single phone. So the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus have exactly the same amount of megapixels. 8 megapixels on the iPhone 5S, 8 megapixels on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. They call it a brand new sensor because it has new focus pixels. The same technology you might find in your Canon 70D. They do work actually. Like autofocus is pretty damn quick on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus. And there's also one single great addition to the iPhone 6 Plus, which is OIS. What is that, Danny?
Or optical image stabilization. Now, the one thing that I noticed is using both of these and taking pictures and also taking some test video, the optical image stabilization doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me. In my opinion, in the stuff that I've used so far, I don't see much difference. Yes, it does help with the video a little bit. It helps you get a few sharper pictures here and there under low lighting conditions, but I don't think it's a deal breaker or something that you need to buy the 6 Plus for just because it has optical image stabilization.
Now, I honestly think the biggest update in all the cameras is actually in the software side of things, because there's a new addition of exposure mode. You can actually bring the exposure manually on the iPhone now, and that makes a huge difference in terms of getting the correct exposure for your photo.
It does make a huge difference. It tends to overexpose a lot, so if you just dial down the exposure a little bit, you can get the perfect shot. It takes extremely good video. It's only in 1080p though, but I wish it was in 4K. But maybe on the 6S.
Another addition to the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus is the new addition of 240 FPS slow motion. That is actually double from the last generation iPhone 5S, and so far it's okay. You do need a lot of light though. Like, you need a lot of light to get that to work well, or you'll just have like shutter flicker all over the place. Any past iPhone user knows what we're talking about bad battery life. All iPhones usually don't have good battery life, and we were hoping the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus had much better battery. Now for the iPhone 6, the battery rating is around 1800 milliamp hours, so only extra, what, 200-300 milliamps from the iPhone 5S? And to me, it's actually not bad. Like, I get it through a whole day with about 20 or 30% of battery life.
I've been using the iPhone 6 Plus more than the iPhone 6, so I know a little bit better about the battery life. I've been using it for a couple of days, and yesterday I used it for about 13 hours, had about 6 hours of on-screen time, and that was insane, and it had about 30% battery life left at the end of the day. So I think you could probably push it to a day and a half, maybe even 2 if you're a light user. So many of you are wondering about the battery life, but we're seeing improvements across the board on both of these models.
So the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, are they the best iPhones ever? I mean, yeah, most likely. I mean, every single iPhone's the best iPhone ever, and this year they're bigger than bigger, apparently.
Yeah. That's a stupid slogan, by the way. But the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, I think they are both great phones, but there are some minor differences in between. But I actually prefer the iPhone 6 Plus.
And I prefer the iPhone 6. No, seriously, the iPhone 6 to me is essentially the perfect iPhone. In terms of size, in terms of build quality, in terms of look in the space gray, it's just a really great phone. It fits in my hand. The screen is big enough for me to watch content. I mean, I do miss 1080p and it sucks not having it, but to me, it's a perfect phone.
While I agree with his points on the 4.7, I prefer the 5.5-inch model because it has the higher resolution, bigger display. It's a much better media consumption device. It's got the optical image stabilization in the camera, and it also has the most important thing to me, the longer lasting battery, because that was the one thing that kept me from not using the iPhone for a long time. Is I've had to charge the phone twice a day, and I just cannot live with that. And finally, I have the iPhone that can last me all day long. So the 5.5 is the winner for me.
So I like the iPhone 6, he likes the iPhone 6 Plus, he's weird, I'm normal, end the story.
Bigger than bigger. That's it. That's the money shot.
So thanks for watching the iPhone 6 versus iPhone 6 Plus. Hope you enjoyed this video, and let us know if you want to see more videos like this, and also the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus review. And yeah, make sure to subscribe.
Yep, and give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.